So I met this guy one night and we were flirting. Like he asked me out and I'm like, I gave him my number and I'm like, oh yeah, he's cute. His name was Stephen. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I asked him, you always ask, what do you do? And I said, what do you do? And he's like, I'm in a band. I'm like, what's the name of the band? Ratt. And I'm like, oh, I go, have you ever played at the Troubadour? Because I had bartended at the Troubadour and that's where he was rocker. I could tell that's where a lot of rockers had played their music. And he's like, no, we've never played at the Troubadour. We usually played pretty big stadiums. And I was like, oh, okay. And I never thought twice about it. And I just didn't know. I had heard their music. I heard the songs. I knew their songs, but I didn't know the name of the band. Right. And we dated for about a month before we were in, like, he took me into Tower Records and he's like, see, these are my records, my albums.
I'm legit. Like, oh, I'm legit.
Okay, that's really nice. Good for you. But I didn't, it didn't matter to me one way or the other. And he wasn't in that scene anymore. He had whatever, they weren't famous. They're still famous, but not in the scene.
Right. They weren't the hot band of the time.
Which, yeah, his heyday had been past, and I was really glad of that because I didn't want to deal with that. But he was so sweet and so charming, the most sweet, charming guy. So anyway, that was another little story of a rock star.